Mick, what is this?
Well, you can see in the brickwork there, it's been very well carved in the initials AW for Alan Williams from Melbourne.
Alan Williams was the drug dealer who pleaded guilty to paying Roger Rogerson and Christopher Flannery to kill Mick Drury. It's vandalism that is still clearly evident after 30 years.
I went to Newcastle for 4 or 5 days. First time out of the house, the family. We went to Newcastle to stay with Mum and Dad for a while. And it was that first occasion that we left. They knew.
Who's they?
Rogerson and the group. They knew when I was not at the house. Because when we went to Newcastle, they took the police guard off the house and there was no one at the house.
The initials were carved with chilling intent.
But it was that one little act in their game of terror that when my wife and I looked at that, we realised we had to move. We'd lost the house. That was it.
Oh, so this one act.
One act.
Told you had to go.
This was the icing on the cake. We knew that we could never live in the house again, that it would never be safe.
Devastating.
It wasn't just Mick Drury who suffered from the events of that night. It was also an attack on his young family, something that Mick Drury still finds deeply traumatising.
I walked into my wife, who was in the next room in the lounge room, and she was breastfeeding the baby. And I said to her that I thought I'd been shot, and to take the girls into the bedroom and lock the door. I just wanted to make sure they were okay. So, but I can live with that because, you see, my reaction is that if I ever saw a lady and children in trouble, even now, as a former police officer, I'd go through a brick wall to help them, to protect them. It was an honour for me to be a police officer.
Mick Drury's family lost their home, and the overwhelming stress cost he and his wife their marriage.
It's a terrible bloody thing.
I'm sorry, Lizzie, I didn't mean to upset you. I do apologise.
I hear the children, that's all. It's terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah, no, it's just... That's why I said to you, I feel more angry than you. Of course I don't. That's impossible. That's impossible. It's just, every time I hear that thought, it's terrible.
But Mick Drury may not be Rogerson's only victim. Sasha Huckstep believes he brutalised her life too.
He's a man that shattered my life. He stole my mother from me. He stole my adolescence. I see somebody who thought he had his own green light, as it were, to do whatever he wanted to do and behave however he wanted to behave, and damn be anybody that got in his way.
Sasha was only 12 when an early morning jogger discovered her mother's body floating in a pond in Centennial Park.
Word of the grim find drew a steady stream of detectives to the spot. Those who didn't know her knew of her.
Sally Ann Huckstep's death was blamed on a heroin overdose, until the coroner concluded she had been strangled and then drowned.
There's a small bone in the back of your throat called a hyoid bone, and that had been sort of crushed or fractured, or there was something, it'd been displaced.
Which indicated violence?
Which indicates strangulation. There's a specific air choke hold that is done, and because it's far back in the throat, it's not from a blow to the head, or, you know, you have to be grabbed in a specific way to get in and only do damage to that bone without doing damage to the rest of the face or the body.
And when you heard that, what did you think?
I didn't believe it was an overdose from the beginning.
You surely can't stay here. You surely can't stay in Australia if what you say is correct.
No, I have to leave the country.
She lived, 10 minutes away. She wouldn't be using drugs in a dark park, sitting on the grass in blackness. There's no need.
Who did you suspect would do this to your mum?
My first thought was Rogerson.
Because?
Because I knew that, she had completely shattered his world and his career.
I think the police thought that I'd shut my mouth.
Sally Ann Huckstep had blown the whistle on Rogerson on 60 Minutes after he shot dead her boyfriend, drug dealer Warren Lanfranchi.
I think it was because she was a very attractive and a good-looking little bird that she got a lot of sympathy from different people, including members of the media and the public. But she really was just a typical common prostitute. And she alleged that I had murdered him, that he had left home with $10,000 in cash down the front of his trousers, and that I had obviously stolen that money when I met him in the lane. And when, of course, I heard what Sally Ann Huckstep was saying on that 60 Minutes program, I was utterly shocked.
Sally, they're extraordinary charges. It's the sort of thing that you expect to hear from Hollywood, not in suburban Australia.
I know that, but it is happening here. And I know it sounds unbelievable, but it's real and it's happening.
I was shocked when I learnt that Sally Ann Huckstep had been murdered here in Centennial Park. And of course, from inquiries that were being made and from what we heard, it soon became obvious that she had been murdered by people who she was close to.
What do you believe happened to your mum?
I believe that Rogerson had had enough, that he said that she had to go. He wanted her dead. His go-to man, his green light boy, was Nettie Smith. And Nettie Smith went to one of his go-to guys, Warren Richards. Warren got her to the park. We know that. She was meeting him. Whether Nettie was there, whether he was the one that threw her into the pond, I don't know. But I hold those three responsible.
Nettie Smith was tried and acquitted of Sally Ann's murder. As with the shooting of Mick Drury, it is a crime that has never been solved.
Mr. Rogerson, do you maintain your innocence?
It's unnecessary.
Mr. Rogerson, did you...
And it's why both Mick Drury and Sasha Huckstep have taken a very personal interest in Roger Rogerson's latest court battle and the murder of 20-year-old drug dealer Jamie Gao.
Mr. Rogerson, did you murder Jamie Gao? Maintain your innocence.
Back to space,
I've got a very bad hip and I've got a flat knee.
all right?
Absolutely.
Have you got anything to say about them?
I thought, well, they've finally got him. You can't worm out of that. There's footage, CCTV footage. You can't deny that. 3 people go in, 2 people come out. And I just thought, thank Christ. It looks like we finally got him. He can't get out of this one.
We have a set of circumstances where a 20-year-old kid is dead. Look, 20-year-old boys can do amazingly bad things, I acknowledge that. But a 20-year-old kid, in the eyes of a gangster, is a lamb to the slaughter. But this should have been stopped 30 years ago, but for the interference of Angus MacDonald and Noel Morey and a couple of other police. It should have been stopped 30 years ago. And the people of New South Wales have had to put up with this nonsense.
Roger Rogerson was found guilty of the murder of Jamie Gao and disposing of his body. He faces spending the rest of his life in jail.
Has he been one of the toughest people you've had to investigate?
I think so. I'm sure he is. Persuasive, charismatic, handsome-looking guy. He's an out-and-out liar. He's a sociopath. And his treachery knows no bounds.
It's a classic case of good cop, bad cop.
Yes.
If you saw Roger Rogerson, what would you say to him?
I would say you made a wrong play, Roger. You are a dreadful man, and you deserve everything you get.
He was a blight on the police force, wasn't he?
That's true. He'll get no sympathy for me, and he knows that too.
And what would you say to Roger Rogerson if you had that opportunity today?
There's a couple of matters that I would like to discuss with Roger. And if I have my way, I will down the track discuss them with Roger. And at all such times as he tells the truth, I can't forgive him. If he tells the truth, I will forgive him.
That's very decent.
The truth's important, Liz.